There's a reality I want to share with you today. I have the privilege and the honor of traveling a whole lot. I don't know, maybe 60,000 youth and young adults that I have the honor to serve and speak to. And there's not a day that doesn't go by that I see these faces popping up. When I see the faces, I start to hear conversations that happen. These conversations from kids from the hood to the burbs. You see, probably 45% of the students and youth and young adults that I have the privilege and honor of speaking to, probably 45% of those are from the suburban context, and the rest are from the hood, and others are in prison or whatever. But there's something that I know that's a fact. The fact is that youth and young adults are slipping through the cracks. They're slipping through the cracks. And I'm sorry, I'm here to tell you that it's our responsibility, it's our issue. I'm looking at their faces. I see them. It's a community problem. It's our problem. You might say, oh, this guy has a little bit of energy, a whole lot. A whole lot of passion and desire to see social change happen. But there's a statement that says that typically our greatest passion comes from our deepest hurt. Our greatest passion typically comes from our greatest hurt. And by the way, if you're looking to find what your passion is, start with your greatest hurt. You see, I got a couple hurts. I was raised in Grand Rapids, right over in Griggs and Division area. And in the inner city of Grand Rapids, and in my neighborhood, there was prostitution, big prostitution, drugs, and a lot of drinking, a lot of stuff like that was happening. I had my parents at home, my mom and my dad. I met my biological father maybe 5 times, well, been about 9 times now, for the last year, that I had an opportunity to establish a relationship with him a little bit. But I'm sitting here in the midst of this context and all kinds of stuff happening. Right around the late 80s, something weird happened. This thing called gangs started to move into Michigan. Well, I wrote a book, and I was sitting there talking to this lady who helped me, who's a lot smarter than I am, helped me put it together, and she was asking me questions. She said, Troy, it seems like there's something missing. She said, seems like when you were a kid, you were absolutely normal, and then somewhere along the line, you just got crazy. What happened? She said, seems like you're leaving something out. And the reality is, people, at about 9 years old, I was molested. I got real quiet because typically there is no place that men go and talk about these kind of things. I was molested, and it sent me on a spiral. But what do you do with a kid who was raised and inside in this context, gangs and drugs and alcohol and violence and all this stuff, and he goes to school and now he's confused about who he is. He's angry, and by the way, had real ability. Oh yeah, get kicked out of school, get kicked out of elementary school, and then kicked out of middle schools, and failed 7th grade 3 times, and sent over to the other school, the school where all the bad kids go and get kicked out of there. Where do they go? Oh, they run into the arms of those people that are around. Those people that will be there to receive them. Because you have about a 2nd grade reading level, and you have all this stuff, and you run to the arms of the gangs. I started to get involved in everything, one thing after the next, the drugs, the alcohol, the selling drugs, the prostitution. All this started to happen, and got involved with all this stuff. And then I became a leader in this organization. Before I hit the age of 17, I moved out of my mother's house when I was 15. By the time I hit the age of 17, I had about 70 guys under my leadership. Then 3 of my brothers were shot. One across the street from my grandfather's church, one across the street from my mother's house, and one on my mother's porch. From one summer to the next. So I decided that I was going to flee. Ran to Georgia, became a bodyguard for a guy. The stuff he asked me to do, I'd do it for free. Traveled with him Ended up homeless, living in the back of a U-Haul truck in North Carolina. And in the process of that, ended up getting caught in a grand jury investigation and a whole bunch of garbage. And all this stuff happened. And now I'm homeless, sitting in the U-Haul truck, get up this big old bad hustler. Guess what he does? He calls his mama. He said, I need a ride home. He took the longest bus trip in America from North Carolina to Grand Rapids. And this is what I want to talk about in the next few minutes. It's because something happened when I went to Detroit. I went to Detroit, and then it was sent to me a preacher, it was sent to me a businessman, and it was sent to me an engineer. Obviously, I became a preacher. Because one day I walked inside of a church, and all these sociological solutions, things that seemed to work, they weren't sustainable. I said, you know what, I will surrender to the Lord Jesus Christ today. And I haven't gone back. I said, if you are willing to take the taste of alcohol out of my mouth because the stuff had me going crazy. And you take the desire to hurt people because I loved it. You take this desire away from me, I will do what I was doing over there, I'll do it for you. And immediately he started sending people. He sent me a preacher who wasn't scared of me, who started to walk with me and say that you're not dumb, you have value, you have worth, and God wants to use you. Oh my goodness, somebody, I'm usable? Oh. He said, then he sent me this engineer. This guy sat with me, and he literally would speak to me in words and talk to me and explain, this is a topology, this is TCP/IP, this is what a node is, and this is a server. And he started to explain to me, and very quickly I became a Nobel administrator, a Microsoft certified professional, and before you know it, I became an IT engineer because somebody sat with me and thought that maybe Troy Anthony Evans could become a world changer if somebody were to take the time and invest just like the game makers did. I know some of us are saying, well, whoa, that's sweet. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. Don't get it twisted. There's garbage happening in Holland. I'll tell you firsthand. When you want to get good weed, you want to get good guns, you come to Holland. Trust me. Knock, knock, knock on our back doors. It's our problem. And our problem is serious. It's our responsibility to make world changers. Here's a couple of things that we personally decided to do in some of our thinking. Is that we would come back to Grand Rapids after my nephew was murdered, decided that we would start a church that wasn't church as usual, that wasn't just business as usual, but we would create a church that would holistically minister to the hip-hop culture. I know what you're saying, like, how in the world do you do hip-hop in church? How does that happen? You know what I'm saying? Like it happens because under that, there is, underneath it, on all of the music and all this stuff, there's something else that's there. I want to give it's basically this idea of relationship. We have this model called ROTC, which means relationship will lead us to opportunity, which gives us trust, which leads to commitment. Relationship will give us opportunity, which leads to trust and commitment. You know that whole presence before proclamation, like to deserve somebody's audience. To go in and build relationship. You see, typically, we don't want to do that because that takes all the time in the world. I'm telling you, those babies, those 60,000 faces that look at me, they're saying that I want all the time in the world. Who's willing to give it to them? And I guarantee you, if you don't, the average dope dealer will. The meth dealer will. If we don't, it's our problem, right? Well, Troy, I don't have your background. I don't even understand half of what they're saying. Go ahead, tell me the truth. Let me tell you, you can take what you have to get those youth and young adults. Not only the youth and young adults, don't get the low-hanging fruit. Get those hard-to-reach ones. You can take what you have to get them where they need to go. You see, back in Detroit, I just said, like, wait a minute, I wasn't super bright. I had never even seen high school a day in my life. So what if I took other guys that didn't see high school, take them in my basement and teach them this is a node, this is a router, this is a switch. The difference between a switch and a hub. That's my switch. Anyway, here's these things, and sit them down and teach them networking in my basement. What if you go to Highland Park schools where you open an IT firm and this kind of stuff, and then I say, well, instead of hiring the most competent, what I'll do is I'll go to the most competent. I'll go over here and get those kids that are in the same community, and they'll create the help desk. And let's see if we can create some more Nobel administrators. Let's see if I can spend time with them and see if they can become world changers. Just give them a chance. Just give them a little bit of time. Then what if we took the church, and the church became surrogate parents, and not just a place where people just come to chill? What if the church became a place where there's businesses started inside the church? What if we hired 45 youth and young adults in 3 years in the area of passion, what they're most passionate about? Don't discourage them about being an NBA player. That's all they got. But say, you want to be, well, let me pay you to go coach over at the school. What if we created a hip-hop church and we say, I want you, because what we know is that most of those kids that are in those situations, lack of exposure messes them up. So what if we take them all over the country and travel with them and say, come with me, I want to show you what it looks like to use your gifts and your talents in venues that are 5,000, 6,000, 2,000 people, and say, use your gifts because you have worth, and guess what? You're a world changer. Man, that's pretty sweet. I want to jump off the stage, I'm telling you. The question, what in the world could I do? I'll give you a few things that what we could do. Make mentoring our problem. There's this pretty sweet guy by the name of John Cotter. He talks about change management, and I like this book probably because it has a lot of pictures, but it's the iceberg is melting. Where you look at it and you realize that, wait a minute, there is something wrong in my context. The iceberg is in fact melting. And guess what? It's melting and it's my problem. Look at yourself. You're going to be at church right now. Say, my problem. No, just say, my problem. Pretty sweet. Sure. The next thing I think we can do is to identify the hard to reach in our context. Because in my setting, it might be a guy that shoots. In your setting, it might be a person that cuts. It might be the single mother. It might be who is the hard to reach in your context. Identify them. How can I identify them? That's the next thing. It's like go into what I call social hubs. Go into the environments, the gym. Put your little antennas up I'm looking for a world changer. And I guarantee all the faces and all the people I have had the honor and privilege to walk with and create world changers, nobody has ever said to me no. Which moves me to the last point. A business guy talked to me about, I have a nonprofit, so I'm always asking. But I'm not really good at it. I'm a businessman. I know how to make money. I'm not good at asking for it, right? And so he started to talk to me. He said, Troy, you seem so timid about asking for money. I got money, so why don't you ask me? And we started talking about it, right? He says, there's a basic business principle, a sales principle. It's pretty sweet. He said, every salesman has to know how to make the ask. Just do it, make the ask. You see, this thing is getting real complicated because we make it complicated. I guarantee you, if you go to those youth and young adults, especially the hard to reach, I guarantee you, if we just simply make the ask and say, man, can I do life with you? Hey, I'm going over to go fix a car. Would you like to come with me? I'm going to go work on this computer. Would you like to go with me? Hey, I want you to do a job shadowing with me today. I'm just going to be rolling in the car going to my clients. Won't you come with me? I can't, there has never been an opportunity. There hasn't been one single youth and young adult that's ever told me no. Just do it. Take what you have to help get them where they need to go. There's a young man, just so happened to be my nephew, His name is Mark. I have a pretty big family. There's 13 aunts and uncles that I have. Mark and I stand to be the only blood adult males in our family that's not addicted to drugs and or alcohol. You see, I came back to Grand Rapids, and Mark and I started a journey. And he has a passion. His passion is to dance. I want to share Mark with you. See, we traveled, we went all over the country, and we ended up going to China about a year and a half ago. It was pretty sweet to see Mark use his talent and his ability to go where there's maybe 1 or 2% of the people that really understand anything he was saying, but what he was doing and translated beyond language. Check out Mark.
How dare you step up in my dimension?
Let me tell you what happens. Take all over the country, spend ridiculous amounts of time just giving what you have. And there's just, I don't know, an army of Marks. After we returned from China, there was a conversation about coming up with mission objective strategy and tactics. He can do that in his sleep. Mark has his own DBA now, his own EIN numbers, his own bank accounts, and he has his own dance school. He's 20 years old. What I'm saying is that Mark is using his talent and his ability to be a world changer. You can do the same thing. Thank you.